Welcome to Shaw TV's special studio show. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. I'm joined by Bruce, Hansi, and Tan. Now they are going to be discussing and sharing with us their experience in their Campbell River Daybreak Rotary Club and how they take trips to distribute wheelchairs. But first, we're going to talk history. So Hansi, why don't you start? How long has the Rotary Club been in existence?
Our Rotary Club, Daybreak Rotary Club, was formed in 1987.
Okay.
And just to get more people into the club as a breakfast solution, so not everybody can go to the noon club.
Right,
yeah,
of course.
For lunch, so that happened this way, yeah.
And Tan, when did the group start doing the trips to deliver the wheelchairs? How did that come about?
Hansi is the brain behind it, but it started in 2006, and long before I joined. But
oh, great!
Yeah, actually, we got a presentation was made by Christiane Flessner from the World Wheelchair Foundation in 2003, and we started to raise funds in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, at what point did you start and combine forces with the other Rotary Club in town?
I think that really happened after the 2007, 2008. They started to help us fundraise as well and participate, yeah.
Awesome. Now, if you started in 1987, you guys are coming up on a big anniversary next year. That's going to be, is that
Looks
40
like
years?
It.
Yes.
I can't do my math. That's 40 years, right?
So,
yeah. Have you started with any plans?
40 years.
No,
not really.
Just
no.
How to celebrate?
No.
I'm sure we'll think of something.
We'll think of
something. Yeah, it's 30 years. Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, with the after you had the presentation from the wheelchair world representative, what was it about that presentation that struck you that you wanted to do something?
Well, it just personally impacted me, and I wanted to do something about it, and I was thinking of ways to create a fundraiser, and my first solution was to, I know food and I know booze, so we, so we did a trivia, food and wine trivia at the Coachman in Easter week in 2006, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we only had the Daybreak Rotary present, and
yes.
We were able to raise $9,000 by the end of the night.
In the first year?
Yeah, first year, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what did you do that first year? Like after the fundraiser and you raised the funds?
It took us another year to raise $25,000. That's when the container of 280 wheelchairs was $25,000, yeah. And then consistently went up.
So you buy 280
wheelchairs, every container, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So 280 wheelchairs every year. And where was the first trip that you took?
So we were able to go to Peru.
Oh, Peru.
Yeah, 2007 to Arequipa, and we of course had Rotary friends there, so we managed to get these contacts, and there were also 2-3 participants from the Noon Club, and so they had first-hand experience how to distribute wheelchairs, and of course all the emotions around it. Yeah.
Now, when you are beginning to make that contact, or when you decide which country you're going to travel to, how does that process start? Do you reach out to the consulate there first? Do you reach out to other Rotary clubs first? Like, what's the first step you take when you decide on the country?
It happened to be that we had an exchange student in the Noon Club down at that time, and I found out he's from Peru, and I found out his dad is a Rotary president, and that's how the first contact came into,
Okay.
And then on the way home from Peru, Cindy Evans met some lady in Lima on the airport, and she was asking about T-shirts and so, and then she says, "Oh, I have a brother in Argentina. He's a Rotarian in Tucumán, San Miguel de Tucumán." So that's where the second container came in.
There you go.
And so on and so forth. And in 1999, I was in Venezuela and talking to Rotarians, and my son was an exchange student there, Rotary exchange student, and he phoned up his former dad and said, "Can we bring wheelchairs to Venezuela?" So that's how it all came all about it to those. Mostly South America on the first few deliveries, yeah.
Now, While this was getting started, at what point in the beginning did you decide to also approach local people and supply locally as well? Because you do that as well.
We do that, yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't, the message never really got out too quickly around town, but we did manage to, you know, there's people here who were in need of a wheelchair, and we definitely will supply them anytime. We also supplied wheelchairs to Duncan and to
Courtney?
Courtney and to the south of the island, yeah.
Okay, great. So, so is that just any time, or is that a special time of year? Like if somebody just calls you and says, I know somebody who needs a wheelchair, it's just any time?
Yeah, I can call those
Okay.
wheelchairs up from Vancouver, from White Rock. That's the
Okay.
headquarters of Wheelchair Foundation Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who's the main supplier of the wheelchair?
The Wheelchair Foundation Canada is doing all the logistics. They
okay.
they deal with Drive Medical in New York, and they
Okay.
have all the factories in China. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now I understand we have a wheelchair here in the studio, and we have one of your fellow
Yeah.
Rotarians who's going to
Tony
wheel it all
Fantillo,
in.
yeah,
Come on
he
in.
will roll the wheelchairs in, and it's
Come on in. Come right in here. There you go.
and Tony also went to several trips with us to distribute wheelchairs. And
all right. Thanks, Tony.
shall I quickly give you some stats about the wheelchair?
Yeah,
So,
let's
It's
talk-
basically made out of bicycle tubing,
Oh, great.
and it has hard rubber tires. All the parts are removable. You can fold it as well.
Okay.
You can adjust all the legs. It's around 40 pound.
It looks very sturdy.
Yeah.
And I would assume that in some of the third world countries where you're delivering it, it would need to be sturdy, because I'm
Yeah.
thinking there's not a lot of even places where they can actually.
No, yeah, it is. It has to be sturdy, but it also can be fixed. It can be cut, welded, together again.
Great.
And with all the containers, we gave them an ample supply of spare parts.
Oh,
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
spare parts come within
Yeah.
the containers.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
It's also really easy to transport. If you need to fold it up and put it in a van or in a taxi or on a
just
scooter.
On a
it just
scooter in
collapses.
Vietnam,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
And there's also a pouch in the back, and every pouch comes with a wrench in it to make adjustments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, Tony, if you want to turn that around towards the camera, because I'd like them to get a shot of the back, because there's some interesting logos that have been sewn right into what's on the back.
Well, this one is not. This one is an older chair, so it doesn't have it yet.
Oh, okay.
Because eventually that World Wheelchair Foundation became Wheelchair Foundation Canada in 2004.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have our own wheelchair foundation in
Now,
Canada.
on the ones that
Yeah.
get delivered, what are the logos that are on the back?
Well, all the logos we put on, usually it's the City of Campbell River,
Okay.
the Wheelchair Foundation
Right.
of Canada, and the Rotary sign, and then it
Okay.
says
Canadian flag.
the Canadian flag,
Canadian
big
flag,
Canadian
okay.
flag, and the Rotary
Nice.
clubs of Campbell River. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, you just returned from Vietnam, and I think we have a roll of photos that we're going to put up on the screen. And if you and Tan want to talk about some of the pictures, that would be great. Tell us about the trip.
Well, we left on 21st of February. We were 13 of us, and also some members from the Loon Club came as well.
Okay.
And we met in Ho Chi Minh City. And we also met the team which we were working together, so Metco, which is, maybe you can elaborate.
It's a partner that we found in Vietnam, because in the past we have worked with other Rotary clubs in the host country, but Vietnam does not have a Rotary club, so we found an organization that does a lot of medical projects and free medical, and have done wheelchairs in the past.
Okay.
So we worked with Somico to distribute wheelchairs in 2 provinces in Vietnam.
Okay.
Those wheelchairs are actually made in Vietnam.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
manufactured in Vietnam, and
great.
it was also the first year where we delivered tricycles.
Okay.
They're more money,
Right.
and people can.
So, for example, here is a tricycle. There's somebody
Okay.
sitting on a tricycle. It allows for the person to be able to easily maneuver and be able to still work, like sell
Yes.
lotto tickets
okay.
or sell
Great.
fruits or whatnot. And so we had about 30 of those in Vietnam.
Oh, great. And you look at the smiles on the faces. How do you explain?
Well, smiles and tears.
Yes.
Lots of tears as well. We saw the very first distribution when we were just sitting and listening to politicians and officials talking, and I glance over to my left and oh, there's the back of the wheelchair that has all the logos. So I glance over on my left and there was a young mom holding her 17-year-old daughter in the wheelchair and with a scarf to her face wiping away her tears because she was so emotional. And later on when we chatted with her, we found out she's a single mom with a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, and this was the first time her 17-year-old received a wheelchair of some sort.
Wow.
So yeah, so lots of happy tears and also lots of smiles from the recipients.
Yeah, we also delivered wheelchairs in the north, mostly in the north, in the two provinces which got impacted by the war most. And so we did deliver a lot of wheelchairs to war ramps, to ex-prisoners.
Yeah, it sounds like such a moving experience to be a part of that and seeing how you've literally changed somebody's life simply by delivering a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You're not only changing one life, you're changing 20 lives around that person.
Right.
Yeah, impact the whole family, friends.
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Now, right after that trip, there was another trip to Bolivia. Is it Bolivia that you went to?
Yeah, it was Bolivia, yeah.
Okay.
We were finishing a job that we started last year. I went with Hansi and 12 other people.
Tony
Was there.
Yeah.
And it was we were only able to deliver 50 last year. So this year we finished with 230.
Awesome.
I went with Dave Bazowski.
Okay.
And we had an amazing time. It was a very, very intimate look at the way Rotary in Santa Cruz area, the Santa Cruz state, the way the club in the city of Santa Cruz really reaches out to the outlying Rotary clubs and to identify people that need the wheelchairs. It was very touching. You know,
Now, I understand that we actually have a video from your trip, so I think we're going to watch that right now. And so have a look at this video from Bolivia, and we'll be right back.
Oh, this was just awesome to see this young man, to see the smile on his face. His name was Manuel. He was there with his mother. When I lifted him into his chair, I just got the biggest smile. He was so happy. He flashed Dave the big thumbs up sign, and he just kept smiling.
Tenemos la satisfacción, la alegría de contar con David, con Bruce en Santa Cruz, que están entregando la silla en nuestras provincias, en nuestra capital. Y bueno, de esta forma nosotros damos cumplimiento a una de nuestras tareas que tenemos, que es de servir con todo ese cariño que le brindamos cuando hacemos las cosas.
Hemos tenido una travesía estos días donde hemos formado un equipo muy bonito de trabajo, viendo la felicidad de esa gente, ¿no? Que realmente es lo que buscamos todos.
This year, it's just felt like a very intimate experience, connecting so nicely with the Rotarians here. First thing I said when I got off the plane is, it's good to be home.
A young lady was paralyzed. What she had for a wheelchair was so inadequate. And then I find out that she plays basketball. And then getting in this chair to be able to maneuver, it was like somebody had just learned to walk again.
Primero al Rotary Club de Campbell River, agradecerles por este esfuerzo que han hecho y segundo, agradecer por los dos embajadores que han mandado, que son realmente increíbles, por el amor y por la pasión que le ponen al trabajo y al rotarismo.
It is the smiles. It's the smiles and the connections that you make each time you either put somebody into a wheelchair or you see their reactions. It's just it's overwhelming. It's the gift to us that we get in return.
That is absolutely amazing. So touching to see those families and how they're so moved by the work that you did.
It really, even talking about it now, it almost makes me want to tear up.
Don't, please. Don't mess up your makeup.
It was just such an incredible experience. Like we could never put a value on that trip for us. And with our friends in Bolivia, the traveling around long days, as you can see from the movie and from the video. And it was even, I didn't mention on the video, there was one woman they said was 109. I'm not sure if they were entirely right about the age, but she looked pretty old. And when you give a wheelchair to somebody that age, all the wheelchairs come with a contract, so that if someone were to die, that wheelchair would go back to Rotary and be redistributed. And it also ensures that nobody takes the wheelchair and sells it. That's
course. Yeah.
Really, really important.
Yeah, plus the wheelchairs, they come in 5 different sizes, I forgot to say that.
Oh, 5 different sizes.
Yeah, there's junior size, 2 junior sizes.
Okay.
I think it's 14, 16, and then there is 18, 20, and 22.
Wow,
for adults.
terrific.
One thing you noticed in there in the movie, in the video, you saw that there was a really banged up old wheelchair, probably the worst that we've seen. And there was in that center, there was also somebody who was bringing their old wheelchair in, and it was a small one. And there was a woman that didn't have a contract that came, and her family put her in the small wheelchair that was too small for her because the need is so great. We always found people that had heard about the distribution and were coming to see if they could get the chairs that were given out. It was very, very touching, as I said. Yeah.
Now, what's next?
What's next? Next year we're going to Bali.
To Bali, okay.
And then this year we're fundraising for Guatemala for 2018.
Okay.
But one of the things that came out of the trip, going to Vietnam and delivering wheelchair was my first time, and there were about 4 or 5 of us Rotarians who were first timers.
Okay.
And so we had lots of discussions around making this even more of a partnership between the Noon Club and the Rotary Club, so that we both own it, and that it's not Daybreak and then the Noon is helping. Right. They've been instrumental in helping with fundraisers, but so moving towards that, and my vision is to bring in young people, high school students involved somehow in the future as well.
Now, I think it's also really important to mention that all of the fundraising goes to the chairs, and that each of you pay your own way.
That's right.
On these trips.
Yes.
It's not a free trip for these people at all. All the money goes to raise for the chairs.
That's right. And at times when we're there and we see a need that comes up from families that come, or that they can't afford to bring somebody in, or we also put out more money for other things on the trip as well to help those that we come across.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's fantastic that they come in 5 sizes. That is extraordinary. Now, when you are filling your container of 280, how do you decide how many of each size to take? Or are you told ahead of time what's needed?
Usually Wheelchair Foundation Canada makes the arrangements with the club or the organization who distributes them. They have to find all the disabled people. They work closely with health organizations. They do.
And so you know ahead of time.
Yeah, and every person they have a file on if they got disabled by birth or by accident. There's a picture. It's a big folder we went through.
So, for example, for Vietnam, I was quite involved with all the communication between the host agency or our partner over on that end and the Canadian Wheelchair Foundation. So that we spent months, our partner spent months talking to local groups that were in touch with potential recipients, finding out their sizes and get their profile down, their backgrounds, their backstory. So in Vietnam, we really only delivered 3 sizes, 14, 16, and 18. So those 3 sizes were there, and they had a rough idea of how many of each size. When we get there, we help them to make sure that
That's the right
in
size.
fact it's
right
the right
fit.
fit for that person.
Okay. So next year you're going to Bali, but you've already fundraised for that. So you're fundraising a year in advance.
That's right.
Is that
2
how that
years.
works?
2 years
2 years
in
in
advance,
advance.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the next trip after Bali is Guatemala?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guatemala, okay.
So this year coming up, so in May we'll be doing our big tapas and dance on May 7th for Guatemala.
And May 7th is a Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
Saturday night.
Saturday
Okay.
night.
Saturday night, yeah.
6
6 o'clock sharp, North Island College. And we have the local band Reunion playing, the Rocking Grandpas.
Reunion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So I know that there's an aspect of the fundraiser that's really unique because you partner with the culinary students at North Island College. So let's talk about that very briefly.
Yeah, we partner with the Culinary Arts Program, and the students help us to cook and prepare
Awesome.
the huge food effort we do.
Yeah.
And in return, we offer bursaries, 2 bursaries, actually 3 bursaries, 2 for $250, and one is a travel bursary for $2,000.
Great.
So every year we had a student coming with us, traveling with us,
Awesome.
experience the culture and customs of that country, and of course all the food and so.
All right.
Yeah.
So how many people are you expecting at the fundraiser this year?
Every year we're trying to sell 350 tickets. Yeah.
350 tickets. So where can people get these tickets?
Tickets are available from any Rotarian, from
Amy's.
Amy's
Amy's
Asian Foods,
Asian food
and
downtown. on 13th.
Jürgen Kettler from
Needle and Art.
Needle.
Needle
yeah.
Dart,
Needle
yeah.
Art, Needle Art,
And I think, is it a Coachman as well?
The-
No, anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just, or if
Or
you're
Cindy
in
Evans
touch-
from Vancouver Island Insurance, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also they can check out the website
right.
and there you have some phone numbers and you have emails on the website, so somebody can reach out and call one of the
Yeah.
Rotarians and
Yeah.
find out
And
how
we have
to
a
get to it as
Facebook
well.
page,
Okay, and a Facebook
Guatemalan
page.
Facebook
Okay.
page, yeah.
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 So your Facebook page, you have one for the club and then one for each trip?
Well,
So
we
the
pretty well have
Guatemala-
one, not for the trip, but for the, we just started to do that about 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the Facebook page name? Wheels for
Guatemala, Wheelchairs for Guatemala.
Wheelchairs for
Yeah.
Guatemala. That's all one word.
Yep.
Okay. And then your Rotary Club page. What's that one? Daybreak Rotary.
Daybreak Rotary.
Campbell
yeah.
River
Campbell River.
Daybreak.
Campbell
Campbell
River
River Daybreak, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so the goal is to partner with the other Rotary from here on out in a very concise way and moving forward very specific.
Yeah, well, we're already partnering in doing the work, but just more of a
Formal
well,
agreement.
it's always been, this is a daybreak
Right.
event with the Noon Rotary helping and supporting us, but I'd really love to see the 2 clubs say, this is ours, this
Right.
is Campbell
Yeah.
River
Yeah.
Rotary,
Rotary
both for the
clubs,
fundraiser,
yes.
both for
Okay.
the fundraiser as well as for the trip as well,
Terrific.
so getting lots of Rotarians on the trips.
Okay, so Saturday, May 7th at the
Yep.
North Island College in the cafeteria.
Yeah,
Is that where it's-
Cafeteria, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's our 10th anniversary this year.
And it's the 10th anniversary of the wheelchair.
No, of the dancing on tapas,
Of the
of the
dancing
whole
and tapas
fundraiser, of all the
event. Oh,
wheelchairs,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So are you doing anything special? Or I guess the reunion club, the reunion dance,
The local
reunion
band.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always
They're
so
super.
much fun.
Yes.
Lots of fun, and we have live auction, which is also fun, and silent auction, and we just have a
Yeah, we have a
we have a
great time.
blast every year. Yeah.
All right, so if you would like tickets, check out the Facebook page or the Rotary Club page or their website. Contact any Rotarian. You can pick them up at, which were the stores?
It's Amy's.
Amy's.
Asian food
Asian
store.
food, okay.
What's the
Needles and
insurance?
Stitches, Vancouver Island Insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Vancouver Island Insurance Center.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, Bruce and Hansi and Tan, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And thank you, Tony, for the wheeling in of the chair.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Super program. So if you are in need of a wheelchair locally, please reach out because they will look after you. And if you would like to contribute or donate on to their international program for distributing wheelchairs, they would love to take your money. All right, thank you so much for watching this special edition of Shaw TV's Studio Show. Thank you so much for watching.